Listen closely to this. In the next few seconds, I'm going to reveal a psychological technique that completely flips the script on attraction. Just imagine, instead of you chasing after them, they're the ones coming after you. It's as if you become a high-powered magnet, and they are iron filings being pulled in by your magnetic force. You're tired of being invisible, right? Of investing time, energy, money, and still feeling like you're talking to a brick wall. That feeling of sending a text and her taking hours to reply with a dry "hey." Meanwhile, you see other guys getting attention without putting in half the effort. The truth is, you're playing the wrong game. Completely wrong. And it's not your fault. No one taught you the real rules of female attraction. You've been programmed to believe you need to impress, win over, chase. But that's exactly what keeps you in the friend zone. And you know what the worst part is? The more you chase, the less they want you. It's a cruel dynamic that erodes your self-confidence day after day. You start to question yourself, is there something wrong with me? Why do they always choose other guys? Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. After 10 years of studying the psychology of attraction and female behavioral patterns, I discovered something few men know, an ultra-rare secret that completely transforms how women see you. And no, it's not about having money or being a fitness model. It's about activating specific psychological triggers that make the female brain put you in a different category. A category where you're no longer just one of many. You become the prize. And when that happens, my friend, the game flips. You're going to learn the human magnet protocol. These are 4 fundamental pillars that, when combined, create an irresistible force of attraction. I'm going to show you each one now. Pay close attention because this is pure applied science. First pillar, emotional independence. Look, most men beg for female attention. Every unanswered message is a blow to the ego. Every no is an emotional catastrophe. You know that feeling, right? That tight feeling in your chest when she reads it and doesn't reply. Emotional independence means being okay with yourself, with or without her approval. It's having a life so interesting that her presence would be a bonus, not a necessity. Women have an internal radar for detecting neediness, and nothing kills attraction faster than an emotionally dependent man. When you develop this independence, something magical happens. Your energy changes. You stop radiating desperation and start exuding genuine confidence. It's like you have an invisible force field that says, I don't need you to be happy. Can you feel the difference? Second pillar, calculated mystery. Seriously, stop telling your entire life story on the first date. Guys do this all the time. They think they need to impress by listing all their accomplishments, showing all their cards. Fatal mistake. Calculated mystery is the art of revealing yourself little by little. It's leaving questions hanging. It's being unpredictable without being unstable. Studies show that the human brain is addicted to completing patterns. When you don't hand everything over on a silver platter, her brain works overtime trying to decipher you. Think of a binge-worthy show. Why can't you stop watching? Because each episode ends with an unanswered question. You need to be that show in her life. Every interaction should leave her wanting more. Don't confuse this with childish games. It's about strategic dosage of information, revealing enough to create connection, but holding back enough to keep the mystery alive. Does that make sense to you? Third pillar, deliberate action. Wake up, man. Stop acting on emotional impulse. Every move you make needs to have a purpose. Knowing when to approach is as important as knowing when to pull back. It's a dance and you need to lead with mastery. Deliberate action means you don't text because you're needy. You text when you have something interesting to share. You don't call because you miss her. You call when you can add value to the conversation. But the real secret is knowing when to pull back at the right moment. When she's starting to get interested, when the conversation is at its peak, you take a step back. It's not coldness, it's strategy. It's creating space for her to miss you. Remember the magnet metaphor? A magnet too close can repel. It needs the right distance to create maximum attraction. Same thing with women. Too much proximity smothers. Too much distance cools things down. The secret is in the dynamic balance. Can you visualize that? Fourth pillar, high value. Now pay very close attention because almost no one realizes this. High value isn't about having a fancy car or a Rolex. It's about having a life you love living. It's having passions, goals, purpose. It's being an interesting person on your own merit. Women are biologically programmed to seek high-value men, but real value isn't bought. It's built. Every book you read, every skill you develop, every challenge you overcome increases your intrinsic value. When you focus on your own growth, something fascinating happens. You stop needing external validation because you have internal validation. You know your worth, and when you know it, they sense it. It's non-verbal communication at the deepest level. Think about how you behave when you're selling something you know is exceptional versus something mediocre. The energy is completely different, right? Same thing here. When you are the premium product, you don't need to sell yourself. They come to you. Is it starting to make sense? Fifth crucial technique, inverted validation. This is the big secret that few apply. Throughout their lives, attractive women receive constant validation. Compliments, likes, messages. They're used to being chased. It's normal for them. Inverted validation is when you subtly flip that dynamic. It's not about being rude or arrogant. It's about not being impressed solely by her beauty. It's treating her like a normal person, not an untouchable goddess. When you do this, her brain short-circuits. For the first time in a long time, she finds someone who isn't drooling all over her. And you know what happens? She starts to seek your approval. The dynamic completely flips, but be careful, it has to be subtle. It's not ignoring or being disrespectful. It's simply not putting her on a pedestal. It's having standards and making it clear that beauty alone doesn't impress you. You're looking for substance. Can you feel the power of that? Sixth strategy, perfect timing. Timing is everything, my friend. Knowing when to advance, when to pull back, when to appear, when to disappear. It's like a symphony where every note needs to come in at the exact right moment. Too early, you seem desperate. Too late, you lose momentum. The secret is to read her signals and respond counterintuitively. When she's super interested, you strategically disappear for a bit. When she starts to pull away, you reappear with something interesting. It's keeping her on an emotional tightrope. Studies show that variable emotions create psychological addiction. That's why gambling is so addictive. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You never know what's coming next. The same psychology applies here. But remember, this isn't manipulation. It's understanding how attraction works and using that knowledge in an ethical way. You're not creating a false reality. You're amplifying your best self. Are you following the logic? Seventh and final piece of the puzzle, magnetic presence. This is ultra rare. Magnetic presence is when you walk into a room and people naturally gravitate towards you. It's not about being the loudest or the center of attention. It's about exuding an energy that attracts. How do you develop this? First, work on your body language. Shoulders back, chest open, calm and deliberate movements. Your body communicates before your mouth. Second, develop your active listening. When someone speaks, you truly listen, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Third, cultivate genuine positive energy, not that fake, annoying happiness, but a vibe of someone who is at peace with themselves, someone who has inner peace. This is incredibly attractive because it's rare in today's world. When you combine all these elements, you literally become a human magnet. Women sense your presence before they even meet you. It's like you have your own gravitational field. Does that make sense to you? Now, let me tell you something. Many guys will read this and think, oh, but this is a game, manipulation. I don't want to trick anyone. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. This isn't about tricking anyone. It's about understanding how attraction works on a psychological level. You're not creating a false persona. You're developing genuine aspects of your personality that naturally generate attraction. It's like working out at the gym. You're not tricking anyone by getting in shape. You're improving yourself. The difference between being desired and being needy is subtle but powerful. When you're needy, you chase, beg, demean yourself for attention. When you're desired, you choose, select, you have options. Think about that for a second. Which version of yourself do you prefer to be? I'll give you a practical example. Imagine you're at a bar. Background music, people chatting, that relaxed vibe. You're there with your friends, laughing, genuinely having a good time. You're not looking for anyone. You're just living in the moment. Suddenly you notice out of the corner of your eye, that woman who would normally intimidate you can't stop watching you. She fixes her hair, adjusts her outfit, looks for ways to get your attention. At some point, she accidentally bumps into you or finds an excuse to strike up a conversation. This isn't fantasy. It's what happens when you implement the human magnet protocol. The dynamic completely flips. You stop being the hunter and become the prize. But here's an important warning. With great power comes great responsibility. When you master these techniques, you're going to have options, many options. Use this power with wisdom and respect. Don't play with feelings. Be honest about your intentions. Remember, the goal isn't to manipulate or hurt anyone. It's to become the best version of yourself and naturally attract people compatible with your new level. It's about creating genuine connections from a position of abundance, not scarcity. Now I'm going to tell you about the 70-20-10 rule. It's a simple but powerful framework. 70% of your time and energy goes to your personal development, gym, career, hobbies, education. 20% goes to socializing and networking, expanding your circle, meeting new people. Only 10% goes to the active pursuit of relationships. Does that seem counterintuitive? That's exactly why it works. When you invert the proportion that most men use, you automatically stand out. You become the guy who has an interesting life, not the guy whose life revolves around getting women. Are you getting the picture? Let me tell you a final secret. The real power isn't in making women chase you. It's in not needing that to feel complete. When you reach that level of emotional independence, ironically, that's when they want you most. It's the paradox of attraction. The less you need, the more you attract. The more you chase, the more they flee. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The more you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you create a container, when you become the container, the water naturally collects. The same logic applies here. Be the container, not the desperate hands. Now you must be asking yourself, okay, I understand the theory, but how do I apply this in practice? Simple. Start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today. First step, delete that desperate message you were about to send. Seriously, delete it now. Second step, focus on your own goals for the next 30 days, gym, work, personal projects. Third step, when you interact with women, remember that you are the prize. It will be uncomfortable at first. Your brain will resist. Years of conditioning don't disappear overnight, but persist, because on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you that you can't even imagine exists. A version that doesn't beg for attention, that doesn't despair for a reply. That has options and chooses wisely. That attracts naturally by being, not by doing. That version already exists within you. It just needs to be awakened. Can you visualize that future? Look, I know it seems like a lot of information, and it is, but you don't have to apply everything at once. Start with one pillar. I suggest emotional independence. Work on that for a week. Then add calculated mystery. Build momentum gradually. In 90 days, you'll look back and not recognize the desperate guy you used to be. You'll laugh remembering how you chased women who now chase you. You'll have stories to tell that your friends won't believe. But none of this happens if you don't take action. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. And you didn't come this far just to be entertained, did you? You want real change, genuine transformation. So let's quickly recap. You learned about the human magnet protocol, emotional independence, calculated mystery, deliberate action, and high value. You discovered inverted validation, perfect timing, and magnetic presence. You understood the 70-20-10 rule. Most importantly, you understood that it's not about tricks or manipulation. It's about becoming genuinely attractive by developing qualities that women naturally value. It's about flipping the dynamic by being the prize, not the pursuer. Remember the magnet metaphor. You don't chase the iron filings. They're attracted by your magnetic force. When you develop that force internally, the external naturally aligns. It's the law of physics applied to relationships. Now, before you leave here and go back to your old patterns, do this. Like this video right now. Seriously, do it now before you forget. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to bring more content like this, content that truly transforms your love life. And most importantly, apply at least one technique today. Don't put it off until tomorrow. The power to flip this dynamic is in your hands now, but it only works if you act. The choice is yours. Are you going to continue being invisible, chasing, getting frustrated? Or are you going to become the magnet that attracts naturally? Are you going to continue being just another face in the crowd? Or are you going to stand out as the high-value man women chase? The decision is yours. You already have the knowledge. All that's missing is action. And that, my friend, is all up to you. Remember, you are the magnet, they are the iron filings, never forget that.